I'm going to help you find a good, used, reliable car. But first, let's watch a couple videos. Yeah. All right. Picking a good, used, reliable car ain't so easy nowadays. Now, I love me some Toyotas, but people just don't maintain their cars like they should. So, there's a few things to consider. Let's hit a couple more highlight reels first, though.
BMW engineers get paid millions of dollars for two things. One, to design a good car, and then two, to make sure that it breaks the moment it's outside of the warranty period. If you're naive enough to believe that you can go 20,000 miles without doing an oil change, or 12,000 miles like the dealership is telling you BMW, that's insane. They're doing it because they want your car to fail, because they want you to buy a new car or spend thousands of dollars in the service department. Well, E36s all came with plastic radiators, plastic thermostat housings, plastic.
I was going to say plastics, yeah.
Literally plastic everywhere.
Right.
And what fails? The plastic. And it's not that it fails immediately, it fails from it getting hot and cold, hot and cold. It's evident in every BMW.
So he says BMW, but it ain't just BMW. It's all of them. Ford, GM, Honda, some Toyotas, not so much rare. Hyundai. I mean, I fix more Fords than anything. They just seem to have the worst plastic. In the cooling system, everything breaks. So, yeah, I'm going to advise against anything Ford. Sorry, Ford. I love American auto brands, but there's just a point where we got to say stop. If I can't fix an oil seal leak on the side of the road because I got to have thousands of dollars in special tools to fix a 2011 Ford, nah, I'm not going to recommend your brand.
Yeah, buddy.
We get it, man. You got a Hilux. You can do it all day. Well, you gotta do this in reverse now?
Yeah, you see that thing steaming up. I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of cars, you overheat them one time, boom, head gasket's blown. Most mechanics, we're not even going to want to do a head gasket. It's an engine or nothing. So we're talking 8 to 10 to 12 grand or more because you overheated once because one piece of plastic broke in the cooling system. And they build these cars to break just out of warranty. I mean, they got this planned obsolescence down to a science, these bean counters, and it's here just to bleed you dry. That's what it's about.
But nothing is dented. Like the fuel tank has a little dent right there. I don't even think that's from today, but none of this stuff is beat up or dented under here at all. This is a two-piece drive shaft and there's no vibration or anything. Like the carrier bearing is holding up, so I'm not sure why Dodge failed so bad at that. But nothing looks out of place. There's literally not.
I mean, look at the underside of this old Toyota. Not a drop of any fluids, no seepage, everything's intact in place. I mean, yeah, they don't build them like this no more, but I had a Toyota 4Runner with 400,000 miles. Original engine, trans, everything. I mean, you got some in that thing because it's probably still going today. So I'm sure you can see where I'm kind of pushing you towards. That's so rad. And I mean, it's not even Toyota trucks. They're taking these 200 plus thousand mile Toyota Corollas and taking them off roading. And they're taking it. And they're running for another 10 years. I mean, you ain't doing that with a Kia or Hyundai. Definitely not a Ford, tell you that. Chevy, eh. This is obviously in Afghanistan or something. And look at this. They're risking their lives to save this Toyota. And you look all over the world, any videos, what everyone's driving, where it's a difference between life and death, they're driving Toyotas. They're not risking it because they know if they choose the wrong car, it's death. Look, they all got Toyotas.
So, Mike, what's your story?
Well, my truck has 1.5 million miles.
1.5 million miles. Let that sink in.
You did replace the engine at 880,000 miles because it needed a head gasket, and you just replaced the transmission. When was that about?
It was 1.3 million miles, and the torque converter was going out.
Right.
And the guy that put the torque converter in said it would be a good time to do the transmission. Even though it was still running, I thought it was getting a little weak, and if he had to come back and do the transmission, it would cost another $600 because you go through the same procedure.
Right.
And he was saying it would save you money if you go ahead and replace it now. And I kind of wish I didn't, to see how far it would have gone, but it's 1.3 million miles.
800,000 miles on the original engine. They replaced it because it needed a head gasket. I'm replacing head gaskets on Ford under 100,000 miles. Chevys under 100,000 miles. Hyundais and Kias just out of warranty around 100,000 miles. I can't recommend them. Sorry. Not sorry. This guy replaced the torque converter at 1.3 million miles. I was replacing torque converters on Chevys at 50,000 miles under warranty. And then just out of warranty, left and right. The trans guy got them all because they're customer pay. He's getting paid twice as much. But they were going out all the time. Just look up Chevy. They're 6 and 8 speeds. Hey, these torque converters suck.
Christian Bale drives around in it's a 2003 Toyota Tacoma.
And so that's like
Christian
before...
Bale's worth like $150 million. No,
before
no
he became...
No, right now. That's what he drives around in. 2003 Toyota Tacoma.
Wait,
That's
so
what he drives.
What's the emotional thing by it? Do you think there's a connection there with Christian?
He says it's good. It's a good car. Never breaks. He's like, if someone needs me to carry something, I can put it in the back. He's just... He's an artist. And he's just pragmatic.
Just doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a shit. He's not interested in material
of
possessions.
the bullshit.
Yeah, for him, I drive a 2003 Toyota Tacoma. It's a bulletproof car. They never break.
That's awesome, man.
And that thing's probably going to hit 1 million miles or more. American Psycho. That's a really good movie. Go ahead and watch it. This guy, worth $150 million, drives in 2003 Toyota Tacoma. It's a good car. Never breaks. You can't make this stuff up.
We're here today because our customer Vic Shepard put 1 million miles on his 2007 Tundra. We put a post on Facebook. The post went viral, so Vic is getting a new Tundra. At the same time, they're taking his other Tundra for research purposes.
It's not a common practice. I've heard a few people hit like 1 million miles in their Toyota trucks, and Toyota actually buy the truck back, tear it down, and see, why did it last so long? Could it have gone 2 million miles? Could they have saved a little money here, make something, a little better? It's amazing. And you don't see this on Fords. I did see one Ford, 2015 Ford Expedition. It was like a fleet delivery truck, had 500,000 miles on it. And, I went out to look at it. It needed a whole new front suspension. Everything was wore out. The turbochargers started seeping out oil. Not terrible, but, it needed catalytic converters. The engine sounded like it was on its last leg. It needed suspension, so That was the only Ford I ever seen that gone that far, except for my dad had like a '89 Ford Bronco that had probably 300,000 or 400,000 miles on it. That was a good truck, but they don't build them like that no more. You know, you can't fix these things anymore. You got to have all these special tools. It's pretty crazy how Ford builds these cars now. They just engineer them. Even the Ford mechanics on YouTube, they complain about how they engineered these vehicles so terribly. It's crazy, but yeah.
We're celebrating me putting 1,000,000+ miles on my Toyota Tundra. I bought my truck here at Homa Toyota, which turned into Greg LeBlanc Toyota, which has been servicing my truck ever since I purchased it.
Now, if you see that stack of paperwork of service, he didn't just change the oil. You know he was changing transmission fluid, brake fluid. I believe they have power steering, it might be electric power steering, but probably, doing fuel induction cleaning services. And you probably had to change some fuel injectors, alternator, starter here and there. But yeah, 1,000,000 miles. And it's not just a fluke.
97 Camry. I bought this brand new in 1996 in December. I had it. See that, ladies and gentlemen?
I love it.
658,000 miles.
I love it.
All I changed was the alternator a couple of times, tires, of course. Transmission one time, and that's it. Nothing else. No starters, no nothing. That's all I changed.
Yeah, he said transmission one time. I can tell you right now, just like any other auto manufacturers, if you don't change that transmission fluid, I don't care what they say, there's no such thing as lifetime fluid. If they say it's lifetime fluid, they want you to get to close to 150,000 miles or just out of warranty and that transmission to go out. They'd rather sell you a new transmission than to have you maintain it and replace your transmission fluid. So don't buy that lifetime transmission fluid crap. You need to change the transmission fluid.
Start it up. Check that mileage out.
805,000 miles.
On a Toyota. Now I know some manufacturers and people will brag about getting 150, 200,000 miles on a car, but this car has 805,000 miles, and it started right up with one turn of the key. This is a 2003 Toyota Tacoma XS Cab SR5 with the TRD off-road. Now it is a 13-year-old truck, but it is in very good shape. You think of some 13-year-old trucks that you've seen in person before, you'll have rust, body damage, things along those
It's a
lines.
badass truck,
Bumpers
I ain't gonna
falling off,
lie.
things falling off.
You wonder how to kill a Toyota? If you maintain it right, this is about what you're gonna have to do to kill a Toyota. Yeah. That thing. Now they ran this truck into the ground. They see what it took to kill this thing. And this is what they had to do to kill it. They literally had to drop it out of a helicopter. Like 1,000 feet. I almost guarantee you that they could probably start that engine back up. If the block didn't crack, it'll probably still run. It ain't gonna drive. Oh. But I know what a lot of you are thinking, that, you're gonna go in and, my family buys Fords, and if it breaks, I'll just take it to a mechanic and have them fix it, whatever it is. yeah, I'm a mechanic. I'll fix your Ford, but I don't know if you've been to any mechanic shops lately, but you're gonna have to listen to this guy.
People keep bringing me their cars because there's nowhere to take them to be fixed. I have to work on all of these cars and get them all fixed. And not just these cars on my lot, but these cars over here as well. They have been fixed and some of them still need to be fixed. The problem is there's not enough people doing this work nowadays to keep up with the demand of all the broken cars. Take this Toyota Matrix for an example. An elderly couple brought this vehicle to me because it had a broken exhaust manifold. If you didn't know, I'm a transmission shop. We usually don't do exhaust work, but they brought it to me because they had been to several shops and nobody could take it in because they either didn't do that type of work or they just didn't have time to fool with it. And I can't blame them because I'm in the same position here with all these cars, but you got to help people out when they're in need. And with newer cars not being designed as well and older cars wearing out, the demand is increasing for all of these cars to be fixed, and there's less and less people to fix them. So my suggestion to you is find a good mechanic and hold on to them for dear life, because this problem is only going to get worse.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for the clips. Now, a little bit about me. My name's Billy. I'm from Florida, 39 years old, ASE certified master mechanic. Been doing this 24 years, and I've owned just about every make and model there is. And after 24 years of driving cars, I only buy Toyotas now. All my Toyotas have over 200,000 miles and they still run great. Do I have problems here and there? Yeah, I might have to replace a power steering pump or something, but I've had Nissans and stuff. I'm blowing head gaskets at 100,000 miles. And all the customers that I deal with, I own my own mechanic business now. All my customers, they're having all these problems with Fords and Hyundais, and I just don't see it with Toyotas. Every time I get a Toyota, it needs alternator or starter at like 250,000 miles, original engine, trans, everything. They might need some brakes or something, but it just goes to show that, I see these things every day, all makes and models, and it just seems like Ford, Kia, Hyundai, not so much Chevy, but they're kind of iffy. That just the plastic and the cooling system, they're so brittle that once they get like 8 years old, just out of warranty, they start cracking. And you get a coolant leak, then your engine overheats, and then you need an engine. And I just see this stuff all the time. And every time someone calls me to do a pre purchase inspection, I always just forewarn them, like, if we're going to look at a Mazda with 200,000 miles, you better have a couple $1,000 on the side to do maintenance and other repairs, because I guarantee you it's going to need something. Otherwise, if I'm going to do an inspection on a Toyota, sometimes we'll get one that it wasn't maintained right, and it ends up having issues because lack of maintenance. I mean, these people buy Toyotas sometimes and they just think, oh, it's Toyota, don't break. Which, yeah, they'll get it to 250,000 miles, but they don't change the oil, and the oil's sludged up. And it's like, this thing ran on original oil, seems like, for 200,000 miles. They might have did a couple oil changes, but then we'll get out there and have blown head gaskets and stuff. But the ones that are actually maintained, it's like it'll have 200, 300,000 miles and it might need a little suspension work, but these things run tip top and just like my cars. So I only recommend Toyotas. Uh, just like any vehicle, they wear out just like everything else. It's just so uncommon to have a catastrophic failure. So that's it for today. You like this video? I'll make some more for you. Thanks for stopping in. Till next time. I apologize about the audio. I have a new mic coming. At the time of this recording, I am not sponsored by Toyota or get any money from Toyota. Thanks for watching.